Hey guys, my name's Maya, and I got into a mess. A huge mess. Now I'm just packing my things because I'm going to live with a creepy old dude who has a lot of money. My parents are selling me to him, and they don't give a damn whether I want it. But before I tell you everything, please subscribe and click on the bell if you want to keep up with our new videos. In short, I've always been beautiful. And I'm not too self-assured because numerous modeling agencies and crowds of fans also think this way. I've been working as a model since I was 13, conquering catwalks and stuff. So yes, I'm beautiful. But I don't mean it made me happy even a bit. I'm not going to tell you about modeling. If you want, you can read piles of various interviews. Well, I think you already know models suffer from chronic fatigue, constant hunger, and sore feet. My story is not about that at all. It's about the other side of this coin. I've always had more than enough fans. Peer boys, high school students, even some grown men showed me their affection. Gifts, flowers, poems, and other gentleman stuff. Each guy spent as much money on me as he could. Honestly, I paid no attention to them. This is also part of the job. There's no ignoring it. But damn, when I first started, I was only 13. What boys? And there were always more interesting things to do then. I studied a lot because I wouldn't be a model forever. I worked a lot to save more money for myself. I somehow realized that I'd never had a boyfriend when I turned 17. Like, I'd never even kissed a guy. And I hadn't had dates. I just didn't have time for it. Although even my close friends thought I had a whole harem of guys hidden somewhere in my room. And then he came into my life. I didn't know who he was for a long time. Honestly, it bothered me a lot because no one had ever given me such presents, and no one had ever cared for me like that. This man sent me expensive jewelry. The most luxurious of it was a platinum ring with Tiffany diamonds. It cost like our whole house and one half of our street. Sometimes he gave me dresses or shoes. They were designer, branded, and also insanely expensive. Sometimes he just sent sums of money with a large number of zeros on my card. That last one seemed more creepy than cute to me. I didn't show my card to every Tom, Dick, or Harry, you know. And if he could still find out my address at the agency, it was also pretty creepy. Then the card number, it was hella creepy. I'm not even talking about the bouquets. My mysterious admirer had a tradition of sending me a bouquet of 101 roses every morning. Mom was really going to sell them because where else could I put this luxurious nightmare? After a couple of weeks, we just left them near the trash can. Someone might need them more than we did. All the local women from 5 to 70 envied me. Even that granny from the opposite house. A 90-year-old kind lady who used to leave the house in the arms of her grandson a couple of times a year. And then she once told me she would dream of such a fan I had. And I was scared. Honestly, I never wore any of his gifts, even to important events. And I never spent a penny of his money. I was just afraid of what he would demand from me for such gifts. I stopped believing in charity and blind love when I was 8 years old. I tried to feed a stray dog, and it bit my butt in gratitude. Time showed me I was right. After about 6 months of this luxurious torture, my prince turned up on a white Bugatti. He chose a perfect moment. I was preparing for the next Dolce show. There were a lot of staff hustling and bustling around, so there were just so many people. And then it came in the dressing room. Even the word entered wouldn't fit. 2 guards brought that in, politely holding it by the arms. In short, just imagine your elderly grandfather who has a falling out false jaw and a diaper because he has been pooping in his pants for 10 years. Then add an insanely expensive suit to that and 2 huge guards. You now have what I saw. I didn't understand everything fully. I don't know if it was an attempt to kneel in front of me or tremor in his limbs, but my prince suddenly fell at my feet. That was how I actually found out my prince was exactly mine. Not just lost because of his senility. It was a gurgling declaration of love. I was so freaked out that I was speechless. The girls were laughing out loud. The guards were blocking the only exit, and somewhere below at my feet, an old creaker gurgled romantically. He was trying to say something, but couldn't because of his jaw. I nodded, said I had a shoot, and got 2 hours of relief. After the show, I went to the toilet and escaped through the window right there. I headed home, but I somehow forgot he knew where I lived and where I studied, and he knew everything about me, including the size of that scar on my butt. He started following me, and then I realized it wasn't funny at all. I didn't really understand what he wanted from me. Like, he was old enough to be my great-great-great-grandfather, and he couldn't even walk. Why did he need me? However, he kept following me. When I was at school or at the agency, everyone burst into laughter and cringed. They saw me as a bimbo who had luxury gifts and a thing that looked more like a turtle than a man. He even dropped by my house a couple of times to personally give me another expensive present. I felt uncomfortable, and then I saw how these 2 guards were pressing one of the senior pupils near the school. They did it because the boy dared to give me a Valentine card. I couldn't bear it and decided to talk to that bastard. I won't forget the words I heard for the rest of my life. Prince said I belonged to him, and it was out of discussion. Yes, it wasn't official yet, but he was going to buy me for himself, and he wouldn't allow me to communicate with any men except for my teachers. I was completely shocked and said we lived in a free country and slavery was banned a couple of centuries ago. It happened when he was young, probably. I also told him he had no right to buy me. I would give him all the presents back right away. We could go to the bank because I kept everything there. I didn't need anything from him. I just wanted to be left alone. But he refused, and the guards tried to shove me into the car. I ran away. I mean, what else could I do? Luckily, it happened in the school parking lot. I just screamed I needed help, and the school guards showed up. It probably wouldn't have helped me much, but Grandpa's guards got distracted, and I had enough time to escape. I got home through the bushes. I hoped my parents would definitely come up with something to save me. They were my parents. They were older, smarter, and, well, parents. It was their responsibility to protect me. But when I got home, the white Bugatti was already nearby. I looked at my parents and realized they weren't going to rescue anyone or anything in this house except for me. Money was what they cared about the most. Grandpa and his minions were in the living room with my parents. They amicably signed a contract which stated the creaker could be my guardian. And that was it. I was hysterical. I broke into the house and began yelling from the entrance. I wouldn't go anywhere. I didn't want to live with him, and they couldn't sell me because I'm a human being. My parents didn't even look at me. The creaker silently showed me the documents, which stated everything was legal. It wasn't selling, of course. I was still a minor. He didn't buy me. He just bought custody of me. He gave me 3 days to pack my things. And then my retired fiancé finally left my house. I didn't want to see, hear, or know anyone for the next 4 years, exactly until I would turn 21. But I had to talk to my parents. It turned out they didn't like it much either, but they had no choice. This old man was very rich and influential, and he could ruin our lives. He could bankrupt my parents, take away the house, make them homeless. He could do anything. My only way out was obeying him. And then Mom added I needed to notice good things in everything. For example, the man was obviously old, so he wouldn't do anything to me. I would just stay in his palace until he died, and it was going to happen very soon. Anyway, now I'm in my room, packing my stuff. I have only 2 options, and both are quite shitty. I will either go to the creaker, or I will run away with my backpack. But everyone will suffer. Me, my parents, and others who matter to me. But even in this situation, I like the escape option much more. What would you do if you were me? Can you tell me what I should do? Run away or agree? I really don't know what to do. Tell me your opinion in the comments, and make sure to like the video. Share your story if something similar happened to you.